You buy a used boat and determine later that you may have paid too much and that the boat just isn't what it was made out to be. A boat is usually a rather substantial investment for most people, and just like a piece of real estate, it's best to get an independent, qualified marine surveyor's inspection and appraisal to help ascertain that you're paying the right price and getting your money's worth. You run into another vessel, and remember, you don't have insurance. The personal damage is fairly extensive, and you have had it. It's not unusual for boaters to forget that they need liability insurance for their boat, just like they do for their vehicles. You purchase a new boat and discover that it doesn't perform nearly as well as you thought it would, or that it was made out to be. Never purchase a boat without first testing it or one identical to it in the water. Boats can handle and ride very different from what they appear to. You purchased a used boat and are just getting one repair bill after another. You had no idea it would cost so much to own the boat as it is costing, and this has become a real problem for you. It's not unusual for boaters to discover maintenance costs can be substantial and even excessive on used boats. Maintenance expense should be anticipated and considered part of the cost of any boat, new or used, but especially if it's used. You're caught in a heavy fog and are forced to remain at sea until late in the night. Boating at night and during periods of low visibility can be dangerous unless you have radar and know how to use and interpret it. Small compact radars can be obtained at a relatively low cost and are just as important on a small boat as on a large boat. You barely miss that jetty at the inlet running in periods of low visibility using your autopilot. Autopilots are great aids if used under the right conditions. They should never be solely relied on during adverse conditions or allowed to serve to eliminate the need for an outlook or skipper at the wheel. You have a problem with your engine starting and find that your VHF radio won't work either. It's obvious that you've run your batteries down. Having an inexpensive portable VHF radio on board would allow you to call for help. There are a number of things that can go wrong with a VHF radio, and a portable is always a good backup item to carry along. You're caught in a situation where you actually need your radar, but you're not certain what is being shown on the display and lack confidence in using it. The world's greatest radar is useless unless you know how to adjust the settings and how to interpret the signals it's displaying. Practice using your radar under good conditions where you can actually see what the radar is displaying. That way you'll have a much better idea of what's really out there in the dark or fog. You're on a long cruise, not constantly checking your electronics, and notice that you've gone off course a considerable distance. Simply setting an alarm or alert on your navigator, usually referred to as a cross-track error alarm, would have warned you that you've ventured off course. You're offshore and ready to return home, but you're not sure exactly which heading to take. Anyone, even those using electronic charts who travels offshore, should always make certain that they've stored in memory in their GPS navigator a point just outside the pass or inlet to their marina or dock. Your electronic chart recorder, sonar, or GPS navigators displaying information you haven't seen before and don't want. Someone else has been operating it, or maybe you've just forgotten how to perform some basic functions. The manufacturer's operation manuals for all of your electronics should be stored on board and easily accessible. Some manufacturers supply waterproof cards that show the basic operation of various functions and features.